She smirked. Wow, you actually believe in fairy tales like loyalty and honesty? That's cute. I said cute, but useful. When her employer read my evidence of her dishonesty, she realized I wasn't living in a fairy tale. She was living in a nightmare. I, 27 male, work as a software developer at a mid-sized tech company. Been there 3 years, decent pay, good team. Or at least it was a good team until Jade, 29, transferred to our department 8 months ago. Jade came in as a senior developer, same level as me. Harvard CS degree, previous experience at 2 big tech companies. On paper, impressive. In reality, she was good at taking credit and even better at avoiding actual work. First month, she was all charm. Brought donuts, asked about our projects, seemed eager to contribute. But red flags started popping up quick. During her second week, I helped her debug an API integration issue. Spent 2 hours walking her through our system. Next team meeting, she presented her solution to the exact problem I'd solved for her. When I raised an eyebrow, she smiled and said, "Great minds think alike, right?" Let it slide. New job, maybe she was nervous and forgot to credit me. Whatever. But it became a pattern. She'd ask teammates for quick help, then present their solutions as her own insights. Started small, bug fixes, optimization suggestions, then escalated to entire feature implementations. The breaking point came 4 months ago. Our team was tasked with building a new authentication system. I'd been working on a similar personal project and had solid architecture ready. Shared it in a team brainstorming session. Jade loved it. Asked tons of questions, wanted to see my code. I walked her through everything, thinking we'd collaborate. 2 days later, our manager Kyle announced Jade would be leading the authentication project. Her proposal? My exact architecture, down to the library choices. Not a single mention of where it came from. I pulled her aside after the meeting. "That was my design you just pitched." She laughed. Actually left. "Your design? These are standard patterns anyone would use. The specific Redis implementation for session management? The custom middleware sequence? That's all from my project." That's when she said it. That smirk. "Wow, you actually believe in fairy tales like loyalty and honesty? That's cute." "Cute, but useful," I replied. "Useful?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Let me explain how the real world works. Ideas don't belong to anyone. Execution matters, and I execute better than you. By taking other people's work, by being smart enough to recognize good ideas and confident enough to run with them. You think anyone cares who thought of what? They care about results, and I deliver results." She walked away, already typing on her phone. Probably updating her LinkedIn about leading an innovative authentication system design. That night, I made a decision. If she didn't believe in loyalty or honesty, fine, but I believed in documentation. Update 1. After that conversation, I started documenting everything. Every interaction, every borrowed idea, every instance of credit theft. Not obsessively, just consistently. Set up a simple system. Email myself after any significant help I gave her. Screenshot Slack conversations where she asked for assistance. Save my original code/designs before sharing anything. Note dates and times of team presentations. Didn't take long to build a pattern. Jade was systematically mining the entire team for ideas, but she was smart about it. Never took everything from a feature from me, an optimization from Connor, a design pattern from Lisa. Mixing and matching to seem innovative. The authentication project was her masterpiece of theft. She pulled components from 5 different team members, presented them as a cohesive vision, and got praised for her holistic thinking. Kyle, our manager, was eating it up. Jade knew exactly how to present to him. Confident, metrics-focused, always with a slide deck. She'd turned our collaborative team culture into her personal innovation farm. 2 weeks into my documentation, she escalated. Started scheduling sync meetings with team members, but would cancel last minute. Then she'd message frantically. "So sorry. Client emergency. Can you just send me your progress? I'll review async." People would send their work. Next team meeting, she'd present their progress as team achievements she'd been overseeing. Connor confronted her once. Her response? "I'm synthesizing everyone's efforts. That's what senior developers do. Maybe when you have more experience, you'll understand." The condescension was unreal. Connor had been coding since he was 12 and had more GitHub contributions than our entire team combined. But he was quiet, humble, easy target for Jade. That's when I noticed something interesting. Jade wasn't just stealing work. She was documenting her version of events, sending recap emails after every meeting, with creative interpretations, logging mentorship sessions where she took credit for teaching us our own solutions, creating a paper trail that painted her as the team's innovation leader. She was building a case for promotion. I checked our company's promotion cycle. 3 months away, senior to lead developer, only 1 slot available. Suddenly, her strategy made sense. She wasn't just lazy or entitled, she was calculating. Build a portfolio of achievements. Position herself as indispensable, get promoted before anyone realized what happened. Time to accelerate my documentation. Update 2, Jade made a crucial mistake. She got greedy. Our company landed a major client, a financial services firm needing a complete security audit tool. Big project, high visibility. Qley assigned it to our team with Jade as lead. Surprise, surprise. She immediately scheduled individual brainstorming sessions with each team member. Mine was on a Tuesday. She came prepared with specific questions about encryption protocols, vulnerability scanning, automated testing. I answered generally, nothing specific. Come on, she pushed. I know you worked on something similar at your last job. Don't hold out on the team. I had worked on something similar. Had a whole framework design saved on my personal GitHub. But I'd learned. I'll put together some thoughts and share them at the team meeting, I said. Her smile tightened. Why wait? We're brainstorming now. I prefer to present complete ideas. That's not very collaborative. Neither is presenting other people's work as your own. The mask slipped for just a second. Pure annoyance flashed across her face before the smile returned. I don't know what you're implying, but I've always credited the team. The team. Never individuals. She left my desk without another word. That afternoon, she tried a different approach. Sent a Slack message to the team channel. Team, for the security audit project, please share any relevant experience or code samples. Let's pool our knowledge. Reply in thread with your contributions. Smart. Public request. Paper trail showing people voluntarily sharing. But the team had caught on. Responses were vague, non-committal. Connor shared a link to public documentation. Lisa mentioned a blog post. Nobody gave her anything substantial. Jade was frustrated. Started scheduling mandatory architecture sessions where she'd whiteboard problems and push for specific solutions. When someone suggested something good, she'd quickly photograph the whiteboard and claim it was collaborative design. But here's where she really messed up. She reached out to my previous teammate from my last job, Dimitri, told him she was my current colleague and was following up on the security framework I'd mentioned you both worked on. Asked for documentation, code samples, anything that might help our team. Dimitri called me immediately. Yo, who's Jade? She's asking for our old security project stuff. I explained the situation. Dimitri was pissed. She's trying to backdoor your work? That's messed up. Did you send her anything? Hell no. Told her any questions about past work should go through you. But Jade didn't stop there. She found the one public repo where I'd contributed to the security framework, forked it, and started modifying it slightly. Just enough to claim it was inspired by open source work rather than stolen directly from me. That's when I decided to give her exactly what she wanted. Update 3, I built a beautiful security audit framework. Elegant code, comprehensive documentation, innovative approaches to vulnerability detection. Spent a whole weekend on it, and I intentionally included a fatal flaw. Not something obvious. Jade was too smart for that, but a subtle logic error in the authentication flow that would only trigger under specific conditions. The kind of bug that would pass initial tests but fail spectacularly in production. Monday morning, I shared it in our team channel. Here's my contribution to the security audit project. Feel free to use any components that might help. Jade's response was immediate. This is excellent. I'll review and integrate the best parts into our architecture. By Wednesday, she'd presented her security framework to Qley and the client. My design, my code structure, even my variable naming conventions. But she'd made it hers by adding fancy diagrams and executive summaries. The client loved it. Qley was impressed. Jade scheduled a company-wide presentation to showcase our team's innovative approach. That's when I played my card. The night before her presentation, I sent Qley an email. Professional, factual, Attached was my original framework design, time-stamped from my personal GitHub. Screenshots of Jade asking for my help. The forked repo where she'd copied my public code. Slack messages showing the pattern of her requesting work, then presenting it. Dimitri's email confirming she'd tried to get our previous project to Orphanson. But the kicker? I included the bug documentation, explained exactly where the flaw was, why it existed, and how it would cause a complete security failure if implemented. I'm concerned that in her enthusiasm to deliver quickly, Jade may have overlooked critical security flaws in the architecture she's presenting tomorrow. I wanted to ensure you were aware before the company-wide presentation. Kyle called me within an hour. Can you come to the office early tomorrow? We need to discuss this. Update 4. I arrived at 7 a.m. Kyle was already there with Raj from HR and Monica, our department VP. They'd spent the night reviewing my documentation. Walk us through this, Monica said. No pleasantries, all business. I laid it out chronologically. Every instance, every pattern, every piece of evidence. Showed them the authentication bug, explained how it would have exposed client data. Why didn't you raise this sooner? Raj asked. I tried addressing it directly with Jade. She made it clear she didn't value honesty or collaboration. I started documenting to protect myself and the team. Kyle looked sick. The authentication project she's leading, that was your design? Yes. Here's my original proposal with timestamps. They exchanged looks. Monica pulled out her phone. Jade, need you in conference room 3. Now. She arrived 15 minutes later, laptop in hand, ready for her presentation, saw me and her smile flickered. What's this about? I have the all hands in an hour. Monica slid a printout across the table. My bug documentation. Can you explain this security flaw in the framework you're presenting? Jade scanned it, her face cycling through confusion, recognition, then panic. This must be an edge case. We can patch it. You didn't know it existed, Monica stated. Not a question. It's a complex system. No code is perfect on first iteration. But it's not your first iteration, is it? Monica placed another paper down. The GitHub timestamps. This is Mark's code. The room went silent. Jade straightened in her chair, and I saw the exact moment she decided to double down. We're a team. We collaborate. Mark shared his ideas, I improved and integrated them. That's how development works. Is that why you contacted his former colleague asking for proprietary code? Raj asked. Her mouth opened, closed. I was doing research. Behind his back, I was being thorough. Monica leaned forward. Jade, I need you to be very clear. What portions of the security framework are your original work? Long pause. I organized the components and created the presentation structure. The code itself? Silence. The architecture? More silence. Monica nodded. HR will be in touch. The presentation is canceled. Please collect your things. Jade's face went white. You're firing me? For collaborating? For systematically taking credit for others' work and presenting flawed code you didn't understand as your own. Monica said, to a financial services client, do you understand the liability? Reality hit Jade like a truck. This wasn't about hurt feelings or office politics. She'd almost implemented a security vulnerability in a financial client's system. That's career-ending, potentially lawsuit-worthy. She turned to me, tears forming. You set me up. You gave me bad code on purpose. I gave you exactly what you wanted, I said. Code you didn't write and couldn't verify. If you'd actually collaborated instead of stealing, you'd have caught the bug. She stood abruptly, knocking her chair back. This is insane. I've delivered more in 8 months than this entire team. You've delivered other people's work, Kyle finally spoke. I should have seen it sooner. You'll regret this, she hissed at me. I have connections. You'll never work in tech again. Monica stood too. Jade, you're done. Security will escort you out. As she was led away, she turned back one more time. No smirk now, just shock and rage. Final update. The aftermath was swift and thorough. HR audited every project Jade had touched. Found instances of plagiarism going back to her first week. 5 team members came forward with similar stories once they knew it was safe. Turns out, this wasn't her first rodeo. Monica's investigation revealed she'd left her last 2 companies under similar circumstances, but they'd kept it quiet to avoid lawsuits. She'd been job hopping before the pattern caught up, each time climbing higher by stealing better. Our team recovered quickly. Kyle apologized for not seeing the pattern sooner and instituted new policies about crediting contributions. The security project went forward with proper attribution and without any bugs. The promotion Jade had been angling for went to Connor. Quiet, humble Connor who'd been doing excellent work while Jade took credit. Poetic justice. But the real satisfaction came 3 weeks later. I got a LinkedIn notification. Jade had updated her profile, no longer senior developer at TechCorp. Now seeking new opportunities in technology leadership. Curiosity got me. I checked her activity. She'd been posting articles about toxic work cultures and the importance of psychological safety in tech. The comments were brutal. Apparently word had gotten out. Several people called out her pattern of behavior at previous companies. Then came the DM from Dimitri. Yo, you see this? Screenshot of a tech industry Slack channel. Someone had shared Jade's profile with a warning about her history of plagiarism and the security incident. Responses were not kind. Known her since Company A, can confirm. She tried to recruit me to collaborate last month, now I know why. Almost hired her. Bullet dodged. In trying to build a reputation on others' work, she destroyed her actual reputation. The tech world is smaller than people think. Last week, I ran into her at a coffee shop. She was on her laptop, job hunting from the looks of it. She saw me, and for a moment I thought she'd make a scene. Instead, she just looked tired, defeated. Still believe in those fairy tales? She asked quietly. More than ever, I said. She laughed bitterly. Must be nice, living in a world where honesty wins. I'm not living in a fairy tale, Jade. You are living in a house of cards. She went back to her laptop without another word. I got my coffee and left. Later, Connor told me she'd applied for a position at his friend's startup. They'd called him for a reference check. He told them the truth, all of it. She didn't get the job. See, Jade was wrong about loyalty and honesty being fairy tales. They're not magical concepts that guarantee success. They're practical tools for building sustainable careers and relationships. She thought she was being smart by taking shortcuts, by climbing on others' backs. But every stolen idea was a debt. Every fake achievement was a risk. Every bridge burned was a future opportunity lost. I didn't destroy her career. I just stopped her from destroying mine and my team's. The evidence I presented wasn't revenge. It was truth. And truth, as it turns out, is a lot more powerful than any fairy tale. The bug I embedded in the code never had to be fixed because the code was never implemented. But it served its purpose. It proved she didn't understand what she was stealing. She was so focused on taking credit that she never bothered to actually learn. That's the real irony. If Jade had spent half as much energy actually collaborating as she did stealing and scheming, she'd probably be a brilliant developer by now. Instead, she's unemployable in an industry that desperately needs talent. Our team is stronger now. We document better, communicate more clearly, and credit each other openly. Kyle jokes that Jade was the vaccine that inoculated us against future plagiarists. And me? I still believe in loyalty and honesty. Not because I'm naive or living in a fairy tale, but because in the long run, they work. Jade learned that the hard way. Her nightmare wasn't getting caught. It was realizing that the real world she thought she understood has consequences too. And those consequences don't care how smart you think you are. Cute, but useful indeed. During a toast, my wife claimed she supported us both while I was finding myself. So during my turn of toast, I played a voicemail of her forcing me to pay for her new car for everyone to hear. 2 minutes later, her parents were furiously calling me. Original post, I'm sitting here replaying Saturday night in my head. It's Monday evening now, still feels unreal. So, context. My wife, Maya, 36F, and I have been married 10 years. We have 2 kids, 7F, 5M. Generally, things were okay. Ups and downs like anyone. About 18 months ago, I left a high-stress corporate job to join a tech startup. Less pay initially, equity potential, much better work-life balance. It was a calculated risk we discussed. Maya was theoretically supportive, but lately, tension. Mostly about money, specifically her wanting a new car. Not needing, wanting. A brand new Lexus NX 350h, fully loaded. Our current cars are fine, paid off. But she needed this upgrade apparently. I kept saying, Maya, not right now. Startup cash flow is tight. Let's wait a year or until things stabilize. It's irresponsible. Sensible, right? Apparently not. The pressure ramped up. Constant comments, comparisons to friends, then voicemails, like guilt-trippy, demanding voicemails left while I was at work. I saved one from last week because it was particularly revealing. Fast forward to Saturday, our 10th anniversary party. We hosted a nice dinner party at a local restaurant's private room, something we'd saved up for specifically for the milestone, maybe 40 people. Friends, family, some colleagues. Maya was in her element. Everything seemed fine, until the toasts. Her best friend gave a nice toast. My brother did too. Then Maya took the mic. She started okay, talking about our journey. Then she drops this gem. And I know the last year or so hasn't been easy. With Leo, finding himself, she said with this patronizing little smile, it's been tough. But I've been happy to hold down the fort, support us both financially, making sure the kids and I didn't feel the pinch too much while he figured things out. Record scratch. WTF. The room got awkward. People know I work my ass off at the startup. Finding himself? Implying she's bankrolling us? My salary is lower right now, but I still contribute significantly. We're not destitute by any means, just prioritizing stability over luxury splurges like a 60K plus SUV. Her phrasing made it sound like I was unemployed while she heroically paid all the bills. Absolute BS. I felt my face get hot, saw my parents exchange a look. Saw her parents, usually lovely people, look confused and concerned. Maya just beamed like she delivered some inspiring monologue. Then it was my turn. My prepared toast went out the window. I walked up, took the mic, stayed calm, looked right at Maya. Wow, Maya, thank you for that perspective. I started, voice level. It's true, transitioning to the startup world involved adjustments, and speaking of support and financial adjustments, pulled out my phone, found the voicemail, hit play, holding the phone to the mic. Maya's voice, slightly whiny but firm. Leo, listen. I saw the perfect NX350H today. Pearl white. We need this. I deserve something nice after, well, everything. You keep saying wait, but waiting is getting embarrassing. Just figure out the money, Leo. Make it happen. I expect that deposit sorted by Friday. Okay, don't make this difficult. Talk soon. Dead silence. You could hear a pin drop. The entitlement, the pressure, the dismissiveness of my concerns. It hung heavy in the air. Maya's face went from beaming to horrified. Color drained completely. She looked like she was going to be sick. I put the phone away. So, yes, I said quietly into the mic. Financial support is complex. Happy anniversary, Maya. To 10 years. I put the mic down and walked back to my seat. Didn't look at anyone. The party vibe just died. People started murmuring. Within 15 minutes, folks were making awkward excuses and leaving. It was brutal. Maya avoided my eyes, surrounded by a couple of her friends looking daggers at me. We drove home in absolute silence. The kids were with my parents overnight, thank God. Maya locked herself in the guest room. The next morning, Sunday, my phone rang. It was her dad, Richard. I braced myself. Leo, he sounded heavy, concerned. Richard, hi. Son, Carol and I were hearing things about last night. Talked to a few people, including Maya briefly this morning. She wasn't making much sense. What actually happened with the toasts? Someone mentioned a voicemail? Yeah, Maya's toast wasn't accurate about our finances. Made me sound like dead weight. So during my turn, I played a voicemail she left me last week, pressuring me about that Lexus she wants. Long pause, heard him sigh. Okay, that explains the defensiveness we got from her. Leo, Carol and I are very concerned about both of you, about what this means. That toast description sounds unfair, and pressuring you via voicemail over a car right now, it doesn't sound right. We need to understand this better. But son, based on what we're piecing together, her behavior sounds deeply inappropriate. He said they wanted to talk to us both, maybe together, maybe separately. It wasn't the immediate fury the title hinted at, but it was clear they weren't impressed with Maya's reported actions. The fury part, I suspected, would come after they got the full unspun story. So yeah, that's where we are. Awkward party. Wife, in self-imposed exile in the guest room, her parents concerned and clearly leaning towards Maya WTF. Marriage status, critical. Did I go too far playing the voicemail? Maybe. But her public lie pushed me there. Don't know what happens next. Update 1 week later. Wow. Okay, thanks for all the comments and DMs. Mostly supportive, some saying I torched the marriage, maybe. Some saying Maya got what she deserved. Maybe too. It's been a wild week. The fallout. Maya stayed in the guest room for 2 days. Communication was basically zero. When she finally emerged, it wasn't with an apology. Oh no? It was anger. How could you, Leo? She hissed. We were in the kitchen, kids thankfully at school. Humiliating me like that, in front of everyone. My parents are questioning me constantly. Humiliating you? I asked, genuinely baffled. Maya, you stood up and basically called me a kept man after I took a calculated risk we agreed on. You lied about supporting us single-handedly. That was humiliating. I exaggerated slightly. It was a toast. You took it way too personally. And the voicemail? Was that an exaggeration too? Telling me to make it happen for a Lexus we don't need and agreed was irresponsible right now? Her eyes flashed. You recorded me? That's probably illegal. It's not one-party consent state for recordings. You twisted that. I was just venting. You sounded entitled, Maya, because you are acting entitled. That devolved quickly. No yelling, just cold, hard words. She genuinely seems to believe I'm the bad guy for exposing her BS. Enter the flying monkeys. Her sister, Qley, 34F, called me Wednesday. Qley's always been, well, fiercely loyal to Maya to a fault. Leo, Maya is devastated. She started, no preamble. She told me what you did? Playing a private recording? That's low, even for you. Even for me? What's that supposed to mean, Qley? It means you've been difficult ever since this startup thing. Maya feels neglected. She feels like she deserves something nice and you're just shutting her down. That toast? Maybe clumsy, but she was trying to express how hard it's been. By lying? And the car isn't something nice, Qley. It's a 60 cal vehicle we don't need right now. The voicemail wasn't venting, it was demanding. She's your wife. You're supposed to provide. You humiliated her in front of her parents. Her parents apologized to me for her behavior, Qley. They heard the voicemail too afterwards. They were furious with her. That shut her up for a second. Well, they're old-fashioned. They don't understand the pressures Maya is under. Okay, Qley. I'm not arguing about this. Maya misrepresented our situation publicly and has been applying unacceptable pressure privately. I reacted. End of story. You owe her an apology. No, Qley, I don't. Hung up. The parental front. My parents are supportive but worried. Told me they love me but hope we can fix it. Advised counseling. Maya's parents, Richard and Carol, did talk to us both separately midweek. Richard called me afterwards. Leo, he sounded grim. We spoke to Maya at length. She tried every excuse. Blamed you, blamed stress, said the toast was a joke, said the voicemail was misunderstood. We didn't buy it, not one bit. Carol is heartbroken. I am furious with her. The lack of respect, the financial pressure, the entitlement, it's unacceptable. We told her as much. We told her she owes you a profound apology and needs to fix this. Leo, we apologize to you for her behavior. This isn't how we raised her. Maya's current tactics. She's now alternating between icy silence and passive-aggressive comments. Little digs about money, about the startup. Yesterday, she left a brochure for the damn Lexus on my home office desk. Seriously, no note, just the brochure. Open to the page with the pearl white one. It's like she thinks she can still wear me down. My stance, am I guilty about the public humiliation? A bit. It was harsh, but honestly, less guilty than I thought I'd be. Her entitlement and the public lie felt like a massive betrayal. I won't apologize for reacting to that. The car is obviously a non-starter. We're coexisting for the kids right now, but it's tense AF. Haven't discussed divorce, haven't discussed counseling, just limbo. But the Lexus brochure? That tells me she hasn't learned a damn thing. TLDR, wife still thinks she's the victim. Her sister is backing her play. My parents are worried. Her parents talked to both of us, are now furious with her after hearing her excuses, apologized to me, and told her to fix it. She hasn't. Wife left Lexus brochure on my desk. Tension level, high. Update 2, 1 month later. Alright folks, buckle up. The entitlement didn't just escalate, it went supernova. And yeah, I guess you could say I went full scorched earth in response. Within realistic, legal boundaries, of course. I'm just a regular guy, remember? The Cold War at home, living together has been hell. Maya swung between acting like nothing happened, weirdly cheerful, asking about my day, and pulling manipulative stunts. Stunt 1, the kids. Caught her telling our daughter, 7F, Mommy would love a new safe car so we can go on fun trips, but Daddy says we can't afford anything nice right now because of his job. Had to shut that down fast. Explained to my daughter, age appropriately, that our current cars are very safe, and Daddy's job is building something cool for the future. And sometimes families have to wait for big purchases. Maya denied saying it that way, of course. Gaslighting 101. Stunt 2. Financial negligence. Started getting cagey about her own spending. She has a part-time job, decent hourly rate but inconsistent hours. Bills I usually handled, she suddenly took care of, but was vague about details. Found out she'd paid our property taxes late, incurring a penalty, because she'd spent her contribution money on clothes and spa days. Claimed she deprioritized it, thinking the penalty wouldn't be much, and things were tight. Because of her spending, right. Stunt 3. The social campaign. Heard from mutual friends that Maya and Qley were spinning a tale about how I'm controlling, financially punitive, and emotionally volatile ever since the startup, painting me as the unstable one who blew up at the party over a misunderstanding. Some friends bought it, others saw through the BS. The breaking point. The final straw wasn't even the Lexus, though the brochures kept appearing. It was discovering she'd opened a new credit card in her name only, fine, but likely exaggerated her income consistency potential on the application, alongside listing our actual household income to secure a surprisingly high limit, not fine, and then maxed it out. On what? A solo weekend trip to clear her head, designer bags, high-end salon treatments. Found the statement accidentally. About $15. Confrontation time. Calmly laid the statement on the table. Maya, explain this. She went pale, then defiant. It's my card, my finances. You likely misrepresented your income stability to get this limit. You spent $15,000 we don't have spare right now, after causing a tax penalty, while still passive-aggressively pushing for a luxury SUV. First, she tried justifying her original actions again. I wouldn't be so stressed if you hadn't attacked me at the party. That toast was nothing. When I didn't back down, she pivoted, tears welling up. Well, you humiliated me. You made me look like a fool. I was upset. I deserved something nice after that. That Lexus would have made me feel better, but since you won't provide. That was it. The utter lack of remorse, the continued focus on the damn car, the attempt to hide debt, and now using my reaction to her initial betrayal as justification for financial infidelity. I snapped. Not yelling, but cold, hard clarity. The revenge, Operation Financial Reality. I didn't play another voicemail. This required a more structured response. Budget lockdown. Sat down. Forced her to sit down with all the numbers. Bank accounts, my startup salary, actual, not projected, her part-time income, bills, debts, including her new $15. Laid it out starkly. Showed her exactly why the Lexus was impossible and how her secret credit card debt now actively harmed our financial goals, like saving for kids' college, retirement. No more ambiguity. Debt responsibility. Told her the $15K credit card debt was hers to pay off. From her income. We'd calculate her proportional contribution to essential household bills based on her actual income, and the rest of her earnings were to go straight to that debt. No more fun money until it was cleared. Period. Non-negotiable. Allowance cut, her fun money. The small amount I used to transfer to her personal account for incidentals? Stopped. Effective immediately. Her income needed to cover her personal spending and her debt first. Parental involvement, nuclear option. This was the big one. I called both sets of parents for a family meeting, just us four and Maya and me. Laid out everything. The toast lie, the voicemail pressure, the manipulating the kids, the late tax payment, the secret credit card, the $15 debt, the continued Lexus obsession, the bad-mouthing campaign. Showed them the credit card statement. Maya tried to interrupt, cry, justify. Her parents, especially Richard, looked like they were going to explode, building on their previously expressed disapproval. My parents looked deeply disappointed in her. Richard finally cut her off. Enough, Maya. We told you to fix this. Instead, you lied, you manipulated, you spent money you don't have, and you're trying to blame Leo? For what? For working hard? For being responsible? This behavior is appalling. Carol echoed him, tears in her eyes, saying she didn't recognize the daughter she raised. They told her, point blank, they would not be bailing her out of the credit card debt. They supported my plan for her to pay it off herself. My parents backed me completely, stating clear boundaries were needed. The aftermath of the meeting. Maya completely shut down. Didn't speak for a day. Her sister Qley tried calling me again. You got mommy and daddy involved? You're trying to isolate her. Told her Maya made her bed. Now she lies in it. And hung up. The consequences. Maya is now facing the music. No Lexus. A $15 debt she has to budget and pay herself from her variable part-time income. Her parents are holding her accountable. Her fun money is gone. She has to contribute fairly to the house based on reality, not wishes. It's not about punishing her. It's about her facing the direct, unavoidable consequences of her entitled actions and financial irresponsibility. Watching her realize the Bank of Leo and mom and dad is closed? Yeah, that feels like justice. Is it satisfying? In a grim way, yes. This entitled bullshit had to stop. Is the marriage salvageable? Still don't know, but the dynamic has shifted. The entitlement has met a brick wall made of spreadsheets and parental disappointment. Final update. 6 months later. Hey Reddit. Been a while. 6 months since the family meeting intervention. Thought I owed you all a final chapter on this saga. Life after the financial reckoning. Things are different. Not magically fixed, but fundamentally altered. The immediate aftermath of that meeting was rough. Maya was sullen, resentful, barely speaking. She hated the budget, hated having to track her spending from her fluctuating income, hated that her parents called her weekly, not to enable, but to ask pointed questions about her debt repayment plan. Qley basically declared me persona non grata. Fine by me. Did Maya magically see the light and apologize profusely? Lol, no. Entitlement like that doesn't just evaporate. There wasn't a single movie moment epiphany. It was more like a slow, grinding erosion of her fantasy world against the hard rocks of reality. The debt, she is paying it down, slowly, painfully. Picked up more shifts when available. Complained constantly at first. Tried suggesting I should cover half since we're married. Nope, her secret debt, her responsibility, backed by parents. The complaining lessened as the balance finally started to shrink. Reality check. Actions have consequences. The Lexus, never mentioned again after the family meeting. She's still driving her old car. Saw her looking at sensible used Toyotas online once. Progress? The entitlement. It's still there, under the surface. Little flashes of resentment, but the overt demands and manipulations stopped. The united front of me plus both sets of parents made it clear that route was closed. She knows she has no allies for her BS anymore. The lie toast. She eventually mumbled a half apology about the toast coming out wrong during one of the early therapy sessions. Not great, but acknowledging it was something. The voicemail? Still claims it was stress. Baby steps, I guess. The road to repair? Maybe. The weeks after the meeting were bleak. Divorce felt very possible. What changed, honestly? The kids. And both sets of parents pushing hard for professional help before calling it quits. They saw the dysfunction Maya caused, but didn't want the family blown apart if it could be salvaged. We started couples therapy about 4 months ago. It's grueling. No breakthroughs yet, but it's a structured place to talk. Our therapist is good. Doesn't let Maya slide on the financial infidelity or the entitlement issues. Doesn't let me slide on the public voicemail stunt either. Acknowledges why I did it, but explores healthier conflict resolution. Fair enough. Therapy is forcing Maya to confront her warped views on money, status, and respect. It's forcing me to confront my communication failures, saving voicemails instead of addressing issues head-on earlier maybe, and the lingering anger. Where we are now, we're still together, still in therapy. It's not a rom-com ending where love conquers all overnight. It's fragile. Trust is fractured, maybe permanently. I'm wary, guarded. I manage our finances transparently, but with clear boundaries now. No more assumptions. Maya, she's quieter, less focused on appearances. Maybe starting to understand the damage she did, or maybe just realizing the consequences are unavoidable. Hard to tell sometimes. She interacts more genuinely with the kids, less performatively. Her parents are cautiously optimistic, but remain firm with her about financial responsibility. My parents are relieved we're trying therapy. Qley still thinks I'm the devil. So, justice served? Kinda. Maya faced real, tangible consequences engineered not just by me, but by the natural weight of her own bad decisions and the intervention of family who refused to enable her. She didn't get the car, she got debt and accountability. The satisfaction isn't about revenge, it's about the fact that the entitled narrative finally crashed and burned against reality. Will we make it? 50-50. but we're talking. We're in therapy. The Lexus is gone from conversation. That's the update. Thanks for listening, Reddit. It helped, actually. Time to log off and live this messy, complicated reality.
Get out, you worthless bum! This is our daughter's house now! My in-laws screamed viciously, dumping my belongings on the street like trash. They didn't realize I owned the damn place. I just laughed out loud, called the cops, and watched them get escorted out. Their desperate whining pleas started flooding my phone. Minutes later, I, 35M, am still processing the sheer audacity. Got home maybe 6:30 p.m. yesterday after a killer deadline day, brain completely fried. All I wanted was a cold beer and silence, pulled into my driveway and slammed on the brakes. There was a pile of stuff on my front lawn. My stuff. My favorite faded college hoodie, a box of vinyl records spilling open, a stack of graphic novels, even the dumb ceramic owl Sophia gave me 2 years ago, sitting crookedly on top, just dumped there like yard waste, and standing there, radiating pure fury, were my mother-in-law, Cheryl, 60s SF, and father-in-law, Gary, 60s M. My wife, Sophia, 34F, was hovering near the porch, arms crossed, looking away, a weird mix of defiant and nervous. Before my car door even clicked shut, Cheryl started. Her voice wasn't just loud, it was jagged. "There he is, finally, the worthless bum!" I killed the engine, and this odd sense of calm, like deep sea pressure, settled over me. I got out slowly, didn't rush. Gary puffed his chest out, taking a step forward. "Okay, Ethan, this isn't working. Get out, we're changing the locks tomorrow. This is Sophia's house now. Our daughter deserves stability, security, not, well, you." He waved dismissively in my direction. Sophia finally spoke, her voice thin, still not looking at me. "Ethan, it's over. I told you things weren't right. Mom and Dad agree. It's just better if you leave." My house, the one I bought with my down payment 5 years before I even swiped right on Sophia, the one where only my name is on the deed, the mortgage, everything, they'd maybe visited 4 times before she moved in, always acting like they were doing me a huge favor. Now, suddenly, Sophia's house? The mental gymnastics were staggering. Cheryl advanced, finger stabbing the air towards me. "You heard him! Get out! You aren't welcome here, you worthless bum! This is our daughter's house now!" She punctuated this by kicking a cardboard box. My old Psych 101 textbook skittered across the damp grass, and that's when the absurdity hit me. I started laughing. Not a chuckle, a full-blown, slightly manic laugh that surprised even me. It echoed a bit. Cheryl's jaw actually dropped. Gary blinked. Sophia flinched like I'd yelled. "My house, I choked out, wiping an eye. "Sophia's house? Wow. Did I miss the closing? Was there a memo?" "Don't you dare mock us," Gary blustered, recovering. "This is only fair. Sophia dedicated years to you. She deserves this house for everything she's put up with." "Put up with what? My stable job? Paying all the bills?" "Since you clearly don't appreciate her," Cheryl jumped back in. "You work constantly. You're never home. We're stepping in to ensure she has what she deserves." "Right," I said, the laughter finally gone, replaced by ice. I pulled out my phone. "Well, if you're stepping in, maybe step back." "What are you doing?" Sophia asked, panic flashing in her eyes. "Calling the folks who handle property disputes," I said evenly. "Trespassing, specifically. You know, the police." "Don't you dare!" Cheryl shrieked. "This is a family matter. Not when you're on my property throwing my stuff around," I said, dialing 911. I calmly gave my address, stated there were 3 individuals trespassing, refusing to leave, had moved my belongings onto the lawn, and were claiming ownership of my home. Cheryl was practically gargling with rage in the background, yelling that I was the one who needed to leave. Gary started towards me, muttering about talking sense into me. "Gary, I wouldn't," I warned, holding up my free hand. "Stay there. Adding assault to the mix won't look good." He hesitated, stopped. Sophia looked genuinely panicked now. "Ethan, please, hang up. Just go stay with your brother Ryan for a few days. We can talk later." "Talk about what, Sophia?" My voice was flat. The betrayal felt like a physical blow. "The part where you plotted with your parents to illegally kick me out of the house I own? Or the part where you stood by while they threw my life onto the lawn? Which bit requires clarification?" She winced, The flashing lights arrived quickly. 2 cars, 4 officers. They took in the scene, me by my car, my possessions scattered, the trio near the porch. They separated us. 2 officers talked to Cheryl, Gary, and Sophia, while the other 2 spoke with me. I explained again, showed my license with the matching address. Mentioned the deed was solely mine, premarital. The senior officer listened, nodded, his face unreadable. He then rejoined the other group. I heard snippets. His legal residence, civil matter for the courts, must vacate the premises immediately. Cheryl went nuclear. It's her marital home. He can't just throw her out. We aren't leaving. Gary puffed up again. We're staying to protect our daughter. The officer's patience visibly thinned. Ma'am, sir, this isn't optional. This is his property according to the ID provided. You are trespassing. You need to leave now. Cheryl planted her feet. No! That was it. One officer took Cheryl firmly by the arm. She shrieked and tried to pull away. Another officer firmly steered Gary towards the sidewalk. It wasn't rough, but it was decisive. Physically escorted off my property, yelling threats and insults the whole way. You'll regret this. We'll see you in court. Sophia trailed after them, head down, crying. She didn't look back. As their car, parked suspiciously down the block, sped off, my phone exploded. Texts, missed calls, voicemails. Cheryl's incoherent rage, Gary's faux disappointed guilt trips. I thought you were a better man than this, Ethan. Sophia's whining texts. Ethan, please call me. It's not what it looks like. My parents were just worried. We can fix this. Ignored them all. Methodically gathered every single item. Carried it all back inside. Locked the door. Felt shaky, furious, but weirdly resolute. First call tomorrow. Locksmith. Second, divorce lawyer. They actually thought this would work. Unfreaking believable. Update. Okay. Update time. Things have gotten messy. Thanks for the support on the last post. Nice knowing I'm not alone in dealing with extreme entitlement. Met with my lawyer, Mr. Davies. Sharp, focused guy. Laid out the whole story, documentation in hand. Deed, mortgage, tax bills, all predating Sophia, all solely mine. He confirmed my position. The house is separate property, end of discussion legally. Sophia might have a theoretical claim to a tiny slice of appreciation if she could prove substantial direct contribution, which Davies agreed was highly unlikely based on the financials I provided. I paid everything significant. He started drafting the divorce petition. Grounds. Irreconcilable differences, but he included a factual summary of the lawn incident as context for her behavior. The harassment didn't stop, it just mutated. Constant calls. Caller ID is my friend. Texts ranging from Cheryl's all-caps threats, "You will pay for this," to Gary's attempts at manipulation, "Think of the good times, Ethan, don't throw it all away," to Sophia's pleading, "Ethan, please talk to me, I miss you." Then Sophia's older sister, Heather, 38F, entered the fray. Heather always fancied herself the family fixer. Started with saccharine texts. "Ethan, honey, you need to talk to Soph. This is tearing her apart." When I ignored those, the claws came out, angry voicemails. "You gutless coward, answer the phone!" Then the doorbell started ringing one evening. Non-stop. Ding dong, ding dong. Checked the video doorbell. Heather, looking furious. I ignored it. Then the banging started. Loud enough to rattle the door frame. "Ethan, open this damn door. You owe her. You think you can just kick her out after everything?" The projection was stunning. Saved the video, called the non-emergency line, referenced the prior incident, emailed the footage. Police paid her a visit. The direct harassment from her stopped, but I knew she wasn't done. Subtler stuff started. Fraud alert on my credit card for an online order I didn't place. Caught it. Card canceled. An alert from my bank about a blocked suspicious login attempt. Changed passwords everywhere. Then came the deluge of junk mail for Sophia at my address. Bridal magazines, parenting catalogs. We have no kids. Credit card offers galore. Annoying, possibly an attempt to establish residency. Marked return to sender. Addressee no longer resides here, straight to recycling. Gary and Cheryl started with slow, creepy drive-bys past the house. Then Gary escalated slightly, yelling, "Enjoy it while you can." Out his window one afternoon, felt like something out of a bad movie. Installed 2 more cameras covering the street. The smear campaign intensified. Heard from my brother Ryan that Heather had called him, launching into a tirade about how I was unstable, abusive, controlling, and had tossed Sophia out, penniless after I supposedly had an affair. Ryan knows me, knows the family dynamic, and shut her down fast. But they were clearly trying to poison the well. Heard from Megan, Sophia's cousin who's quietly sympathetic, that Cheryl had cornered her at a family function, boasting about how they were taking care of things and ensuring Sophia got the house she deserved. The pre-planning was real. Sophia's lawyer sent a formal demand letter to Mr. Davies. The ask, 50% of the house's current value, $5,000 a month spousal support, and I pay her legal fees. Davies' response was ice cold. Reiterated the house's non-negotiable, separate property, CC'd the deed again, referenced the police reports regarding the eviction attempt and Heather's harassment, stated spousal support was non-starter given her conduct and short marriage. He agreed to discuss division of actual marital assets, like the small joint savings, but only after the house issue was formally dropped. Blocked all their numbers, all comms via lawyers now. It's stressful. There are nights I don't sleep well, but every ridiculous demand, every failed stunt just steals my resolve. They thought I'd crumble. Big mistake. Final update, deep breath, it's done. Finally, completely, officially done. The divorce decree is finalized, and the consequences for team entitlement? Pretty much exactly what they engineered for themselves. The last couple of months were a drag legally, but predictable. Heather, after being shut down by my work HR for sending harassing emails, which Davies also documented, tried one last stunt. A fake social media profile using my name and pictures. Started posting inflammatory nonsense. It caused a brief headache. Had to explain it to my Aunt Linda, who saw it and called me worried. But it was clumsy. Davies sent a cease and desist. We reported the profile. It got nuked. That seemed to finally silence Heather. Cheryl and Gary kept up their pity tour, but it lost steam. People started avoiding them. Their narrative of the abusive husband kicking out poor Sophia just didn't stick once the facts about the house ownership and the lawn incident trickled out, mostly via me calmly stating facts when asked directly. The legal process crawled a bit. Requests for discovery, where Sophia couldn't produce a single document proving financial contribution to the house. Scheduling conferences, her lawyer kept trying to push for mediation focused on the house. Davies shut it down every time. Finally, in a pre-trial settlement conference, faced with zero legal standing on the house, documented harassment, and the judge basically signaling impatience, Sophia's lawyer advised her to cut her losses. The revenge. Legal, financial, and served. Ice cold. My goal wasn't petty vengeance, it was simply holding the line and letting the legal and natural consequences play out fully. No compromises on my rights, no rewarding their behavior. The divorce decree. Brutally simple. And exactly what Davies predicted from the start. The house confirmed 100% my separate premarital property. No equity split, no buyout, off the table. Spousal support denied. Justification cited short marriage duration and documented misconduct. The lawn incident, harassment. Assets. We split the joint savings. I had $6,000 total. She gets her personal belongings. That's it. The belongings hassle. Sophia ignored requests to pick up her stuff for weeks. Mr. Davies advised packing it professionally and storing it to avoid claims of damage withholding. I paid the initial storage fees up front to get it out of my house. Her lawyer was informed the cost would be deducted from her share of minor joint assets or billed directly. She refused to pay the ongoing storage fees. I ended up paying another month to stop the unit going to auction. More hassle for me. But Davies successfully argued to have these costs reimbursed from her minimal share of the final settlement. She netted barely $2,000 after those costs and half the savings. The financial implosion. This is the chef's kiss of consequences they built themselves. Sophia quit her job before the lawn incident, assuming a windfall. Cheryl and Gary co-signed a lease on a pricey apartment for her immediately after, banking on the house payout. Now, Sophia has no job, virtually no savings, no support. Cheryl and Gary are stuck paying $2,500 plus month rent. Megan, the cousin, mentioned hushed, furious arguments. Gary apparently told Sophia to get a minimum wage job yesterday. Heard Cheryl had to take a significant penalized withdrawal from their retirement fund to cover the initial costs and ongoing support. They created their own financial nightmare through sheer arrogance. Social fallout. The isolation solidified. Most mutual friends faded out or explicitly took my side once the facts emerged. They tried hosting a summer BBQ. Apparently it was mostly just them and Heather awkwardly poking at burgers. Their attempt to control the narrative failed miserably. They're seen not as victims but as grasping and foolish. How am I doing? Relieved doesn't cover it. Vindicated. Lighter. It was a draining 4 months. Stress. Anger. Moments of profound disappointment in the person I married, but seeing the legal process work, methodically dismantling their entitled fantasy, brought closure. The house feels like mine again. Quietly reclaiming it, new paint, rearranging furniture, catching up with friends they didn't approve of, planning a road trip, thinking seriously about that rescue dog. The quiet isn't lonely, it's peaceful. My phone stays silent now, no desperate texts, no angry calls, just peace. They tried to take everything. They ended up wrecking their own finances and reputation, couldn't have scripted a more fitting end based on their own actions. Thanks for following along, Reddit. Time to close this chapter.
After recording my girlfriend bragging, I'm just using him until someone better comes along, I played the clip at her birthday party. She turned pale and whispered, "You've got it all wrong." I smiled and said, "No, I finally got it right." The next day, I helped her pack her bags. Throwaway cause my GF follows my main. Not looking for advice, really just need to get this off my chest. I, 28M, been with my GF, 26F, for 2 years, moved in together like 6 months back into my apartment. I bought it last year with my savings from my boring-ass tech job that she always complains about, lol. Things seemed okay at first. Maybe I was just blind. It started with little stuff I kept brushing off. Like how my GF was always broke when rent was due, but somehow had money for her nails and shopping. Or how she'd make these comments about my friends being losers and my job not being impressive enough. Or the way she'd suddenly get all touchy and sweet whenever she wanted something. And don't get me started on those weekly girls' nights where her ex magically appeared every single time. Just a coincidence, babe, don't be insecure. I'm really not the jealous type, okay, maybe a little, but something felt off. I kept ignoring that feeling in my gut though. Then 3 weeks ago, everything went to sh*T. My GF left her iPad on the coffee table while she went to another girls' night. I was just gonna put it away when it kept lighting up with messages. Look, I know snooping is wrong, but one notification caught my eye from her BFF. Is he still clueless about everything? LMAO. And yeah, I looked. I know I'm an AH for that, but holy crap what I found. Her convo with her BFF made me literally sick to my stomach. BFF, YTF are you still with him anyway? You always complain about him. My GF, his place is nice AF, and he pays for everything lol. I'm just using him until someone better comes along. Preferably someone who makes actual dollar and isn't so boring in bed tbh. BFF Savage. But what about that birthday gift you got him? That was expensive though. My GF, girl that was his money face with tears of joy. I used his credit card. He's too stupid to check statements, LMAO. There was so much more. She had plans to upgrade to her ex once he got a better job. Jokes about me being her personal ATM, screenshots of my private texts that she shared with her friends where they all made fun of me. She even had a separate folder of screenshots from other guys she was talking to. I didn't blow up right there even though I wanted to scream. Instead, I checked my credit card statements, and guess what? That thoughtful $300 gift she surprised me with last month? Bought with my own damn card. Plus like $3,700 of other random crap I never knew about. So I started recording everything. Not like stalker style, just normal convos where she'd lie about stuff. Kept copies of all receipts and screenshots too. Took me about 2 weeks to get everything together. Here's where my plan came together. Her 27th birthday was coming up in a few days. She'd been demanding this fancy party at some overpriced restaurant that I already put down $500 non-refundable deposit for BTW. All her friends are going to be there plus our mutual friends. I decided to go all out. Got a custom cake, $200, planned a whole slideshow thing, even got a little jewelry box. The night of the party comes, and everyone's having a great time. My GF is loving being center of attention. Drinking the champagne I paid for still pisses me off thinking about it. After dinner, I stood up to make my toast. My hands were literally shaking, but nobody noticed. Before I give my gift, I wanted to share a special memory, I said. I hooked my laptop to the restaurant speaker system. The manager was cool with it when I said it was a surprise audio message. Then I played the recording. Her voice was crystal clear. I'm just using him until someone better comes along. Preferably someone who makes actual money and isn't so boring. You guys should have seen her face. She went completely white. The whole room got so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I played more parts. Her talking about using my credit card. Her and her BFF laughing at me. Her plans to bail once she'd save enough of MY money. She ran over to me whispering, "OMG, you've got it all wrong." That's not what I meant. It was a joke. I just looked at her and said, "No, I finally got it right." Then I handed her the jewelry box. When she opened it, there wasn't jewelry, just her credit card statements with all her unauthorized charges highlighted, and a note that said, "You have 24 hours to get your shit out of my apartment." Then I walked out. Didn't look back. Left her there to deal with everyone staring at her. My phone starting blowing up within minutes. Some friends were like, "Dude, that was badass," but others were saying I went too far. Her family kept calling and texting saying I was an abusive a-hole for humiliating their daughter. Oh, okay. One of our mutual friends said I should have just broken up with her privately instead of making a scene. Maybe that would have been more mature, but honestly, I slept better that night than I had in months. Edit. Sorry for any typos. Typing this on my phone and still kind of processing everything. Update 1. Holy crap, you guys. Did not expect my post to blow up like this. RIP my inbox LMAO. Can't respond to everyone, but thanks for the awards and support, and to the 3 PPL who'd med me calling me fake. Whatever dudes, wish this was fake TBH. It's been 3 days since the birthday party disaster, and things have been insane. The morning after everything went down, I called in sick to work. No way I could focus on coding with all this drama, and just waited at my apartment. Around 12:30 my ex, GF, showed up looking like hell. Pretty sure she was hoping I'd be at work because she looked shocked to see me sitting at the kitchen table drinking coffee like nothing happened. As soon as she saw me, she started with the waterworks. Like full-on sobbing. "Babe, I can explain everything," she wailed. "Those messages were just jokes. I was just trying to sound cool to my friends. You know how they are." I didn't say anything, just pointed to the boxes I'd grabbed from behind the building dumpster that morning. Pro tip. Liquor stores have the best boxes. That's when she switched from sad to pissed. "You fucking humiliated me in front of everyone," she screamed. "Do you know how cruel that was? My parents are furious. My friends think I'm a joke now." I just shrugged and said, "Probably about as cruel as stealing from me and mocking me to your friends for 2 years. Your stuff needs to be out by 7. Cue the most dramatic packing session ever. She kept switching between. Crying hysterically, "I can't believe this is happening to me." Cursing me out, "You're such a vindictive ash asterisk, Lou, etc., etc. Love bombing, baby, we can fix this. I made one mistake. I do love you." The real show started when her BFF showed up to help her pack. Yo, the same one from those texts? She wouldn't even look at me, just kept her head down the whole time. Found out later that like half their friend group turned against them after hearing those recordings. Turns out my ex, GF, and her BFF had done this same shit to other guys before. Her one friend just texted me later, saying they did the same thing to my brother's roommate last year. They're like predators. The best part was when my ex tried her final power move. She stood in the middle of the apartment with half her crap in boxes and was like, "Actually, you legally can't kick me out without proper notice. I could call the cops right now." I just pulled out our agreement that she signed where she isn't on the lease and then showed her all the evidence of credit card fraud I had organized in a folder. Asked if she wanted me to press charges. She got real quiet after that, LOL. The fallout has been wild. Her parents called me that night screaming that I'd destroyed their precious daughter's life and reputation. I just emailed them copies of the credit card statements showing she'd spent $3,714.28 of MY money without permission and asked if they wanted to reimburse me. Weird how they haven't called back. Some of our mutual friends have reached out to apologize. Apparently my ex and her BFF had been trash-talking me to anyone who would listen for months. They've been telling people I was controlling. LOL, I literally never cared what she did. Bad in bed. Okay, that one hurts. And that I was financially abusive, says the person stealing from me. Oh, and the funniest part? Her ex, the one she was planning to upgrade to once he got a better job, heard everything that went down and blocked her on everything. Guess he didn't appreciate being her backup plan faced with tears of joy. I've been busy cleaning up the financial mess. Cancelled our shared Netflix, Hulu / etc. that I paid for, changed my locks yesterday, not taking chances, and have appointments with both a therapist and financial advisor next week. Still feel like shit TBH, but also relieved? Her stuff is gone, but I keep finding weird things missing, like she took random petty stuff. One iPhone charger but left the other. One shoe from several pairs, who does that? And all my good kitchen knives? Like WTF am I gonna do with 5 forks and no knives? Anyway, that's where things stand. Might update again if anything crazy happens. Edit, for people asking about legal stuff. Yes, I've documented everything. No, I'm not posting it here. And yes, I've already disputed the credit card charges. Update 2. So it's been about 10 days since my last update. Didn't think I'd be posting again, but holy crap, things have gotten wild. First TE checks for all the comments and DMs, except for that one guy who kept insisting this is fake. Dude, I wish this was made up. And to everyone asking for the recording, no, I'm not posting it here. Stop asking. So remember those credit card charges I mentioned? After like a million phone calls and sending over all my evidence, my CC company finally finished their investigation and reversed most of the charges. Got back $3,684.53 total. They're also doing their own thing against my ex for fraud, which I didn't even know they could do. The fraud department lady was super nice when she called and said this happens more than people think. Meanwhile, my ex has gone through all the stages of grief in her texts, LOL. At first it was all, you are gonna regret this, and hope you are, happy being alone forever type stuff. Then it switched to these long paragraphs about how sorry she is and how she made a mistake and never meant to hurt me. Now she's full-on panicking about the fraud investigation. Like 27 missed calls in 2 days kind of panicking. Haven't responded to any of it. Just saving everything in case I need it later. The craziest part? She showed up at my workplace yesterday. Came in with this massive flower arrangement and tried to make this big dramatic speech in the lobby about forgiveness and second chances. My co-workers, who know the whole story by now, immediately called security. She bounced before they got there, but not before making a complete fool of herself. My boss was surprisingly cool about it and said they'd add her to the do not allow entry list. What's so weird is that she seems genuinely shocked that her actions have consequences. Like in her mind, the real crime was me exposing her, not her stealing thousands of dollar and planning to use me as a stepping stone. Like, how does that even compute? Her BFF texted me this half-assed apology that was clearly damage control. Hey, just wanted to say some of those texts were taken out of context, and I'm sorry if my words hurt you. My ex really does care about you in her own way. LMAO in her own way. I just replied with thumbs up, which apparently really pissed her off because she sent back a whole paragraph of angry emojis. The most interesting development came from my ex's cousin Alyssa. She'd met me on Insta to apologize for her family's behavior and told me this wasn't new. Apparently, my ex has been doing this same pattern since college, finding financially stable guys, moving in, taking what she can, then bouncing to the next guy. Her family knows, and has basically enabled it for years with the whole boys will get over it attitude. Alyssa said she's the black sheep of the family for calling it out. I'm still kind of processing everything, but life is actually starting to feel normal. I reconnected with some old friends that I'd lost touch with during the relationship. Turns out my ex had been low-key talking shit about them too. Surprise, surprise. My apartment feels weirdly peaceful without all the drama. A bunch of PPL asked if I regret the public exposure instead of just breaking up privately. Honestly? No. After 2 years of manipulation and lies after being used and mocked behind my back, the truth needed to come out. Edit, a lot of you are asking about legal action. I'm letting the credit card company handle their fraud thing and just focusing on moving forward. Not trying to drag this out forever. Edit 2, to the people saying I should have broken up in private, would you say that if genders were reversed? Just wondering. Final update. Okay, so it's been like a month since everything blew up, and I think this is going to be my last post about all this because honestly, I'm ready to close this whole chapter and move on with my life. TE checks for all the support and the Reddit gold? Never had that before, lol. To address the most common questions from my last post. 1. I'm letting the credit card fraud case do its thing. I gave all my evidence to the right people, and I'm letting them handle it. Not pushing for max penalties or anything, but also not dropping it either. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I guess. 2. Yes, I replaced my kitchen knives, lol. So my ex finally stopped blowing up my phone after her initial court date for the fraud stuff. Guess reality finally sank in? Her parents, who were so quick to call me every name in the book, have gone completely silent too. According to my ex's cousin, they're dealing with their own embarrassment now that her pattern of behavior is impossible to ignore or defend anymore. Found out even more messed up stuff since my last post. Apparently my ex and her BFF would literally rate their boyfriends based on financial potential and had this whole system for planning upgrades to better guys. One of our mutual friends, Jake, told me he found out she'd been actively seeing her ex the whole time they were dating last year, the same ex she was planning to leave me for. Jake and I grabbed beers last week and compared notes. There's a whole trail of dudes she's done this to. But honestly, the actual best part of all this isn't the justice or whatever. It's the peace I've found. For 2 years, I was constantly manipulated into thinking I wasn't good enough, wasn't making enough money, wasn't exciting enough, etc., etc. The gaslighting had me convinced that her always being unhappy was my failure, not her being a toxic person. Started therapy 2 weeks ago. Shout out to everyone who suggested that in the comments. It's been eye-opening to recognize all the red flags I ignored and patterns I'll never let happen again. My apartment feels like mine again. I've replaced the stuff she took, repainted the living room, and rearranged all the furniture to make it feel totally different. Last weekend, I cooked myself a big steak dinner with all the sides I like, but she always complained about garlic mashed potatoes FTW, and it hit me how much of myself I'd push down just to make her happy. So messed up looking back on it. Not getting back into dating anytime soon TBH. This whole experience taught me that being alone is way better than being with someone who sees you as an ATM instead of a partner. As for my ex, my friend who works at the same gym as her cousin says she's staying with her parents and telling everyone she's the victim of a misunderstanding and that I blew everything out of proportion. Whatever. Her BFF already has a new boyfriend, poor dude. Some people never change. I've changed though, for the better. Oh, and I bought a PS5 with some of the money I got back from a fraud claim. Petty? Maybe. But I've got a lot of gaming to catch up on. Edit to the person who keeps mang me asking for her Insta. And oh, stop being weird. Edit 2. Okay, this actually happened after I wrote most of this post, but my ex showed up at my apartment again yesterday. I didn't answer the door, just watched her through the peephole. She left a letter that was basically 4 pages of her still not really taking responsibility. Tore it up without reading past the first paragraph TBH. Edit 3. Seriously guys, stop asking for the recordings/screenshots. I'm not sharing that stuff publicly.